Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Powerful Teaching with Dr. Blades. Today, I am joined by the amazing STEMinist, Chanel Johnson. Welcome, Chanel.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited about being here today.
You know, I'm always excited to get to talk to you. You have some really big news that I can't wait to share in a second. So we can hurry up and get to that. I'm going to have you go ahead and tell everyone about yourself and tell them what your role is in the education field.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a country girl. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Country girl at heart, but cityfied as well. I'm married. I have 3 kids, a set of twins, and my oldest, she is 10 and the twins are 7. And we have a new puppy named Blade, and he's a 70-pound, 7-month German Shepherd, and he is definitely giving us a run for our money. I started off as a teacher. I taught both math and science, and everything that I do always integrated technology. And I didn't realize back then what I was doing was going to take me so many different places. I thought I'm just doing what's good for kids, keep my door closed, do me. And those have afforded me opportunities to become a STEM specialist where I supported teachers in both math, science, and instructional technology. But the issue is it was K-12. That's hitting every grade band and 2 subjects. So it was a lot. So now I am laser focused on supporting K-5 science teachers, which I must admit is actually, I didn't think it would be, but it's my favorite. Because if we can catch them early, right, if you can catch them early, then it's to the moon for their science, for their educational experience in science. So I'm really excited about that.
I agree with you on catching students early, particularly in science, because that's my background. But if we're going to be fair to the other STEM fields, you know, the technology and the math as well, and really encouraging and growing that curiosity at that age, we can really make a difference in pushing students into STEM. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for the work that you do. Chanel, you are so influential. Let me just say that. Let me just share this with y'all about Chanel. When I taught, are we allowed to say places that we used to work for? I think we are, right? I don't know.
I guess.
Okay, anyway.
Right.
When I worked for Fulton County Schools in the Atlanta area, I will never forget that I was attending a district training, and this young woman was very active in, I don't know if you were helping to facilitate the training or if you were just doing a presentation at the time. I don't know what it was, but I know that she spoke. She commanded the room. She caught my attention because it was clear that she knew her content. She was confident, and she was a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. So all of that.
Had to.
For me, yes. So I've just always been impressed by her. And once we actually got a chance to meet and interact, she's just one of those kind of people that you just have to know.
That is so sweet.
No,
girl, I felt the exact same way about you.
Oh,
I knew we was locked in when we met. You already know how I feel about you. Anything that I do, oh God, is Marquita gonna like this? Is Dr. Blaze gonna like this? Like I always think of you. Like you are like my role model. You are my idol. I promise you. Like I'm always impressed with you and everything that you do. YoutheBomb.com, girl.
Well, I appreciate that, and iron sharpens iron. So, you know, we can just continue learning from each other. All right, Chanel, I just cannot wait to talk about this. You were just elected vice president of the Georgia Science Teachers Association. This is a big deal. I shared with you on Twitter that I haven't been a member of the organization since I left the classroom in 2016. And I immediately rejoined as a member when you made your announcement. You would now be the vice president. So I want you to share 3 things. This is a 3-part question. How does it feel to be the new vice president of GSTA? That's the first thing. Secondly, share a little bit with us about your history with the organization and what your new position means for the future of the organization.
Absolutely. So, first of all, it feels surreal that I am the vice president of GSTA, and I didn't realize when I had made the announcement, I didn't realize how big of a deal it was until I made the announcement. I honestly, it was you, so many other educators reaching out. Membership just that day increased just from one announcement. And I think it was this feeling of, oh goodness, it's just Chanel. It's just Chanel. What's going on? Where this membership just start heightening. I was like, oh my goodness. So then is that pressure of, man, if these people have spent their money to be a part of this organization, I'm gonna do good by these teachers. And then it made me think of, it's not just Atlanta, because we're funny in Atlanta. There's Georgia and then there's Atlanta. Yes. And we think sometimes we're a whole different state. But we're not. We are not. And so for me, I went from thinking, wait a minute, it's not just Atlanta, it's Georgia. And so thinking of how many more teachers I can touch and how many more people I get to meet, and not only teach but learn from. Oh my goodness. So I'm always a forever learner, and I don't believe in strangers. I need to be better, but I don't believe in a stranger. But my history organization with GSTA, I honestly was a member. I presented at some of their conferences. I participated in a couple things, but I wasn't as active, like probably as I should have been. But when the opportunity came up to apply, I went for it. I wasn't even expecting to win.
Wow.
I wasn't. Wow. But what does this new position hold for me? So one, I want to increase membership, but not only just, it's not about the number, it's also about making sure we're producing quality, that we're providing the support that our Georgia science teachers need with our 3-dimensional learning, with storylines, phenomena, all of the things that you do. Let's keep that in mind. But but all the things that the direction we're trying to push our science teachers, just making sure that they have that quality support, that they're getting the training they need, the support that they need, that so that they have people they can lean on. And I truly, and me in social media, I truly believe the world is small with social media. So think how much smaller the state of Georgia could be. I sent my first email. You probably saw the email, but just from me putting my Twitter, you saw it. Silly. But the moment I sent that email, and everything I do, I'm always going to have my Twitter handle on there. Just that day, 20 new people connected with me or emailed me back. So we got some work to do, and I have their attention, so I'm excited.
You definitely have our attention. And I just want to personally thank you for taking that on, because I know it's a lot, and I know the response has probably been a little overwhelming, but please don't feel pressure. I think a lot of us feel now we're eager to roll up our sleeves and also support you in any way that you need. So everybody's hearing it here in this YouTube video. You definitely have my support.
I appreciate it. We got work to do. And I said that, I said it like I said it. We have work to do.
So Chanel, you told us about your background being a math and science teacher, and that you've always incorporated technology into your instruction. So you've also become known as a technology specialist as well. How did you know that you needed to incorporate technology as much as you do? And how did you get your students to become comfortable with that as well?
I always tell this story. I remember my first year teaching. It was I just was moved from 8th grade math because we had a teacher who resigned and I was the newbie in charge. I was a newbie, so they moved me to 7th grade science. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't. So I had to learn everything the night before. And I remember it was this breaking point that I had. I'm standing there with an overhead projector. I had 2 pieces of technology in that room, an overhead projector and a flat screen TV just to watch the morning announcements. That's all I had. And this is in 2009, friends. So that just goes to show equity and access to technology. So I want to put that out there. A flat screen TV and an overhead projector. And I'm up there with the vis-a-vis marker and I'm hot because, you know, the light bulb and this ugly, bulky machine is separating me from my students. And I remember just writing the notes for them to copy, you know, doing the traditional stuff. And I looked up at them and I promise you, I'm exaggerating, but I felt like I saw a kid fall out of his chair to sleep. And I felt like he was dying. And I was dying. And I remember I turned that overhead projector off, click. And I said, y'all, I am sorry. I can't go on like this as your educator. I will be better tomorrow. I promise. You won't ever see this again. So I gave them the rest of the class period and I let them, be free. Of course, classroom management, but you had your moment. And as they were doing it, I'm looking in the room trying to figure out what am I going to do to make this better? Because this thing got to go. And I saw that TV. And then I remember I have my own personal computer. I have a VGA cord. I can hook these 2 together and I can have my PowerPoints and I can make interactive slide decks for them here. So I went home, made my stuff homemade, got my VGA cord, got all the technology I needed, came back, had that thing playing on that TV and had my little clicker, right? Those kids were so engaged with the simplest thing. I believe true innovation comes when you don't have anything. You had to be innovative. And while that sounds like low tech today, like if you tell me this is your tech today, I'm going to be looking at you crazy, but that's what I had. And I had to do something different to capture them. And I knew then that it's something new that captured them. So I stayed on top of it. Promethean boards started coming. Clickers started coming. Devices started coming. Edmodo, all of these tools, simulations, all these things started coming years and years later. And I was always the one on top of it because I remember the difference between that vis-a-vis marker and that overhead and the TV with the PowerPoint. I remember that difference and I never lose sight of how I felt. I promise you that kid fell out of his chair. I know he did. So it was them. I always say my first year babies, they the ones who set me straight on who I was supposed to be.
Wow. I love that story. Shout out to the vis-a-vis and the overhead. Listen, I done balanced many equations on them and they did serve their purpose. But as you stated, and this is the message I took from that, you got to start somewhere. So you didn't go from no tech to super high end. You used what was available and you continued to improve from there. I think that's a very strong message that we need to send to teachers who still aren't quite on the technology train. Just start somewhere, right?
Yes. Anywhere. Anywhere where you're comfortable, just start there.
Now, another thing that you kind of have been mentoring me, coaching me on, and that is being active on Twitter. For years, you have been telling me that I need to have a presence on Twitter. That is where everything happens in education. Why is Twitter such a thing amongst educators?
Don't know. And I'm gonna tell you this funny story. I'm actually late. I remember someone told me in 2015, my principal told me back in 2015, 2016, yeah, Chanel, you need to create a Twitter. I said, who uses Twitter? Not I. Right. I said, I'm good with Facebook and Instagram. So I know like how people feel about it. But when I actually listened to him and I saw the presence, I started participating in Twitter chats. And just that profession. You know how we feel about professional development, and you know how we feel about, oh, this could have been an email. But in Twitter, it really teaches you to wrap it up. Say what you got to say. And now, what is it, 250 characters? Because they increase. Say what you got to say in these amount of characters or less, and connect with people. So it teaches you to get your point across. It teaches you to connect with people. And you really get a chance to see what people, who they are, what they're about. And my Twitter is only specific to educators. Like anything else, I don't fool with it. And I'm only specific to the educator world. And I always look at it, it's the road to somewhere else, because people are dropping resources, they're dropping links to their websites or opportunities. So it's not necessarily just Twitter is the stopping place, it's the road to somewhere deeper. There are so many people that I have met that from Twitter, and you would think that we have known each other all our lives because we've grown into a family. So it's all about connecting with the right people.
If I see you retweet someone on Twitter, I automatically follow them, because I feel like if you're following them, this obviously is someone I should be paying attention to. Same with George Valenzuela, who you connected. I think you told me to follow him on Twitter. And he and I actually got a speaking engagement at the same event through Twitter, and we are connected now. So for those educators who are still kind of slow, maybe we're on there, but we're not still heavily engaged as we should be. Give us some tips to kind of push us on out there and get us active.
Well, think of Twitter as your running resume. It's who you are. And don't think that it doesn't have to be calculated. Take some pictures ahead of time. Like, for example, if me and you are doing this right now, screenshot this moment and tweet it later, so that you can get people to, hey, check out this YouTube video and every other great YouTube video you have going on. So take pictures of things, post it later. There are things that I have that I'm just waiting to tweet.
And see, I've sit back and wonder, what should I tweet? So can you screenshot this for us right now and send it to me?
That's funny. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Chanel, you call yourself the STEMinist. Tell us what that means.
So it all started with a good friend of mine who, if you're not connected with her name is Patricia Brown, Miss Ed Techie. She had these shirts that said STEMinist. And it really just spoke to me, because what it means to be a STEMinist, it means you are a woman who is a part of STEM, whether it's science, technology, engineering, math, or all of them. So it's about representation. That STEM, and we know the stereotypes, and we know what people think STEM looks like, and who is in STEM and who is dominating the STEM fields. It is to put it out there that she can be STEM too. And that is why, and I have 2 daughters, so that is why I go by the name, the STEMinist, because I believe in representation, and I believe that every girl should believe in themselves and believe that you can be in the forefront in the STEM fields. You don't have to take a back seat. You don't have to be quiet. You step up there boldly and you share what it is that you have to offer to the world. So the STEMinist.
Okay, now when we talk about women in STEM, do you feel that K through 12 STEM educators are included in that community, or do you feel like there's still some work that needs to be done on that part?
You can't get anywhere in the world without a good teacher, or even a bad one. You can't get anywhere without a teacher, whether you, so.
That's quotable. You said a good teacher or even a bad one. That's quotable.
Because I think about some of those rappers or some of the musicians who said, this is to the teacher who said I wouldn't be anything. Well, somebody fueled your fire. And I'm sad that it was not a good teacher, because if it were me, your fire still would have been fueled, but it was for positive. Right. So it's up to the educator. what energy you're outputting or what you're giving them. So inputting. So I think that I wonder, I think personally, K-12 educators, you are included in the STEM realm. Like for me, no, I have not found the cure to anything, but I am a scientist. I am applying the practices of scientists. Therefore, I am a scientist. And even in our own classrooms, I'm sure even when you taught, you told your students, you are a scientist. This ain't for, we're practicing, but you're taking those skills and you're going to translate them to something else. I'm giving you the skill. So I think, yes, we are in the STEM field. Somebody has to develop the actual scientists and STEM careers. So yes.
Absolutely. I asked that question because I see a lot of STEM forums. I get tagged on a lot of STEM forums where these conversations are being had around women in STEM, and often I don't see K through 12 STEM educators being included in that conversation. And I think some of it is a result of us really seeing ourselves as scientists. I think a lot of times we see ourselves as educators first and scientists second. But we really have to give each of those titles equal footings, because like you said, when I taught chemistry, those were real lab grade chemicals. It was real equipment. We were doing real processes. We may not have been working in a medical laboratory or a research laboratory, but those are the same procedures and they do deserve the same level of merit.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I think that educators, we are the most selfless, one of the most selfless, overworked people there is, that sometimes we don't think, wait a minute, I'm a business person as well. Wait a minute. I am a scientist. I am a mathematician. An engineer is meant to make things better. Every day I'm trying to improve instruction. I am applying engineering skills to make you better. So you are those things. And I think we're just so selfless that we don't think that we're more than what we are.
You know,
Look,
it's a
if you
quote
can,
that I share with all of my coaching clients. What's obvious to you is amazing to others. And I think, you know, we do so many things that sometimes we overlook how truly amazing they are, because it's just second nature to us. It's just a part of our job.
You have to imagine how many decisions as educators we have to make, not even a day, but just in 5 minutes, how many decisions you have to make. And this is no shade to any other career, but you're literally at most could be dealing with 30 different kids and their needs at once, trying to make the best decision possible. Come on now, you bad.
For all of them at the same time. Yes, absolutely.
I'm telling you.
Chanel, you are one of the amazing breakout session presenters at the Teach to Empower conference that's happening actually next weekend on May 15th and 16th. Let everybody know what they're going to be learning from you.
Absolutely. So I'm very specific with my topic. We're going to focus on Jamboard. Google Jamboard is one of the new raving tools that's through the Google Education Suite. And I am actually showing you not necessarily just what Jamboard is and how to use it, but how to use it in science education. Because I think oftentimes there's a disconnect. Some people will show you the tool, but then leave it up to you to figure out how to make it work for your content. I do both. I am going to show you the tool and I'm going to show you how it works for your content so that you can feel, A, I can use this tomorrow, and B, help you brainstorm and come up with ideas. So that's where my style of teaching any tool goes. It does not stand alone without living in some content and pedagogy area. So we are going to Jamboard 5E style using science as our driver.
Oh, wow. That's a lot that you're teaching. So you're teaching a platform. You're also really teaching the 5E model, because believe it or not, there are still some educators who are not well versed in that. And then you're going to layer some science content on top of it. That's a Power Path
Absolutely.
session. I can't wait to attend. I can't wait to
Absolutely.
attend.
You're so amazing. I'm happy to be a part of this conference. I mean, this is so important to me because one, this is something you're spearheading and everything you touch is going to be gold. So I'm just excited to be a part of this. Hey, let's do
I
it.
certainly received that. Chanel, there's one more thing that I want to talk to you about before we wrap up our conversation. And that is a new book collaboration that you are a part of. So tell us the title of this book, what your chapter is about, and where we can find it.
Absolutely. So the name of the book that I'm co-authored in is called Women Who Lead in Technology. Oh my goodness. Dr. Sharon Porter. She is dynamic. And the amazing thing about her is I connected with her through the book that I was in with you. I co-authored in the Girlfriends Code, the sorority edition. So it's amazing how I connected with so many people just from that book, and having the opportunity to be in a series with Dr. Porter again was definitely a treat. So in my chapter, and this actually goes back to a question you asked earlier, and this is what really kind of helped me believe, I am a STEMinist. I teach it, but I am a part of it. Because as I was reading all of these dynamic women in the book and all the great things they're doing in the technology field, like they're actually in it. I mean, there's one woman in here who is killing the game in cybersecurity, an untouched field that we need to really be thinking about. While she's doing it, I'm making you aware of it. I'm teaching it. So I had to really get my confidence up and say, you know what? I belong in this book too. You know what? I belong in here. I am. And I had to get myself there. So in my chapter, I am going to talk about, what instructional technology actually is and how we shouldn't teach it in isolation. And some of the exact tips you gave about just meeting you where you are. Start somewhere. I give 10 good tips on how to start with technology. So, and how you shouldn't have that pressure. So I'm really excited about that. It's almost like a little story of my whole how do I call it? Techtastrophe. Because I have a lot of techtastrophes in there, but I talk about my journey and how I didn't just wake up knowing everything about technology. I had to mess up. And so I talk about that journey and how I hope to inspire and empower others. Hey, just get started. These tools are out there and it's good for kids. It's good for us. Just get out there and try. So you can find my book, and I can drop the link on how to order the book. And I'm excited about anyone that orders, and you'll get a signed copy from me. I'll drop that link, and hopefully you like what you read.
Well, I know I'm going to love what I read. I ordered my copy. I can't wait.
Yes, you did.
Back to the States and be able to sit down and read it. Chanel, what is your favorite tech tool?
Ooh, I have to give you one. Can I give you three? Can I just do three?
I think I know what it might be.
What is it?
Is it Flipgrid?
It is. It is Flipgrid.
I picked that one because
yes.
Because I remember one time when I was at a particular school in Fulton County, not as a teacher, but as a consultant. And I remember you sitting down with me one day and basically like pressuring me and twisting my arm that if I wasn't using Flipgrid, I really wasn't about that life if I wasn't using Flipgrid.
Oh my goodness, for the record, I'm not a bully, y'all.
These are the kind of people we need in our lives who are going to say, girl, get your technology up. What are you doing? So I just appreciate you for putting it on my radar, because I have now incorporated it into my technology toolbox that I share with other educators when I go out and speak and consult. So I appreciate it.
Yay. Yay, girl. Yes, Flipgrid is my favorite. And it's changed. The reason for that has changed even from years ago. I love app smashing. You can do so much with Flipgrid. And one of the women who works for Flipgrid, who is dynamic, if you're not following her, her name is Jornay. Her quote is, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. And she's right.
Oh,
she is right.
I like that.
Jornay, she's...
Okay, you mentioned the term app smashing, and I remember when you introduced me to Flipgrid, you used that term, and I said, Chanel, I don't know what that is. Now let me learn Flipgrid first. So for the people watching who don't know what it means to app smash, tell us quickly what that means.
Smashing is integrating one or more, actually 2 or more tools together. So if I'm using Flipgrid and let's say Nearpod, those 2 can work together. If I'm using, I don't know, Flipgrid and Adobe Create, any Adobe tool or something of that sort. So that's pretty much how it is, just integrating 2 or more tools together.
All right. Well, for y'all who want to jump into technology, don't feel like you have to app smash right off the bat. She already told y'all, you know, start where you are and just kind of work from there.
I always say, and this is actually in the book, you don't need to know every single tech tool to be the best educator. Stick to your 3 to 4 that serves a purpose. That's the other thing. Serve a purpose. Don't just use something because it's cute and it's fancy. Be intentional about what you're using. But get you 4 good tools that you know is going to serve the purpose you need and stick with it. Live with it. If you find something that's better and you want to go there, go ahead. Find your 4.
You know what? That's what I share in my, I just did a seminar last week, 50 best strategies for enhancing your science instruction using technology. And that's what I tell them. I tell them, choose the ones that are also going to give your students transferable skills. So
yes,
if you're just using it just because it's popular, you want to definitely
nope. You're right about that. I like that, transferable skills. And I know Flipgrid provides transferable skills.
It absolutely does.
And
well, Chanel, it has been a pleasure as always to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much for joining. Y'all, if you're watching, I am going to share the link to order Chanel's book in the description of this video. I'm also going to share her social media handles. But Chanel, anything you want to share with the people before we close out?
Hey, let's just get out and do it. If you ever need anything, stay connected with me on Twitter. I'm always a tweet away. And if we're already connected, hey. And if we're not connected, hey, let's do it. So it's been a pleasure being here. And thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Follow Chanel on Twitter. Like and subscribe to the Powerful Teaching channel. Follow Powerful Teaching across all social media platforms. If you haven't, get your ticket to the Teach to Empower conference. You can go to powerfulteaching.com. Go ahead and sign up for that. And I will see y'all in the next episode of Powerful Teaching with Dr. Blades.